Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows? Only time. And who can say if your love grows as your heart shows? Only time.
Good morning, and welcome back to history class. I hope you're having a good day today. All right, we talked yesterday about the country of India and the people who lived there. Right now, there were the first people who lived there, the people of the Indus Valley civilization. Like we said, we don't know a whole lot about them, but more people, as time went on, came to live there. And in time, the things that usually happened, didn't it? They brought up, they have, farming and metalwork and buildings and all this stuff. As civilization grew up, and like most civilizations, they came up with their own religion. And the religion of India, which is still practiced to this day, they called it Hinduism. Hinduism, as a religion, it's in some ways, it looks like a whole bunch of other religions. You have to make sure you do good and not do bad. You have to make sure you sacrifice and say the right prayers to the right number of gods. Hinduism has some really weird gods in it. Take a look at this one here. Yeah, that's Ganesha. He has the head of an elephant. Yes. Yes, there's some very weird gods in Hinduism, very scary gods too. I'm not going to go and talk to you about all the things that they did because A, you're too young to be knowing about that kind of thing, and B, I don't want to scare you, and C, your parents would probably get mad if I did. Okay, but a lot of their stuff revolves around death, killing people to make their gods happy, sacrificing animals or themselves or others to make their gods happy. It's a very bloody religion. Okay? But one of the things that came up out of this religion was something that told people what they were. And by that I mean they had something that I think is horrible, but they thought was wonderful. They thought that's what their gods wanted. And that's called the caste system. The caste system. What is that? The caste system determines what kind of person you are from the day you're born until the day you die. In Hinduism, what you are born as is the same thing you will be when you die. Let me explain that. If you were born, let's say that your father was a farmer, okay? Then you will grow up to be a farmer. You can never stop being a farmer. For the rest of your life, until the day you die, you have to be a farmer. If you were a metal worker, then for the rest of your life, you would have to be a metal worker. If you were a beggar, if you were poor, well then for the rest of your life, you had to be a beggar. If you were a rich person, like a politician, then for the rest of your life, you would be a politician. This system made sure that the same people were always in charge and the same people were always managing the same things. If you were born a farmer, but you said, I don't want to be a farmer, I want to be a doctor, too bad. Too bad. You could not move from one system to the other. unless you did something terribly, terribly wrong. Then you could be moved to a lower place in the system, but you could never move up. You could only move down. So that meant that the rich and the important people would always be rich and important, and the poor people would always be poor, and the beggars would always be beggars. It's a terrible way to live. And but the way these things worked was the way where you were born determined what you would be for the rest of your life. But how could you live like that? How could you live like that? How could you move? How could you live your whole life knowing that your whole life is going to be terrible? Well, that's where the Hinduism comes in. Hinduism says if you do good deeds your whole life, you can move up the caste system, not in this life, but in your next life. Hinduism teaches that when you die, you get another life. You get to come back. And when you die in that life, you get to come back as another thing. So, you would have to work very, very hard your whole life to always be good, so that when you died, you come back as something good. So, if you were a farmer, you worked very, very hard all your life, and maybe if you pleased the gods, when you got your next life, you could be a doctor. But if you did bad things in your life, then maybe when you came back, you would be a beggar. Or maybe worse, maybe you would come back as an animal. See, that's why in India, they don't hurt animals, because they think the animals might have the lives of their dead relatives in them. Okay, but it's a messed up system, I know, and it's called karma. It's called karma. If you have good karma, you'll get a better life. If you have bad karma, you get a worse life. That's how things worked in India for a long time. That's how they still work today. People still believe that. It's a very hard place to tell people about Jesus, because they think that if they listen to Jesus, that'll give them bad karma, and they'll come back to life as a bug or something. It's very difficult, but that's the way life is in India. Okay, that's how it was for a very long time. That's how it is now. Okay, we'll talk more about India tomorrow, but first let's go over our questions before we finish. Number 1, what is the religion of India? That is Hinduism. Hinduism. Number 2, what is the name for the system that told people what they were? That was the caste system. And number 3, what is their name for the reward that you got after you died? That is karma. That is karma. Good karma will give you good things, bad karma will give you bad things. That's how it worked. All right, we'll talk more about India tomorrow. And so wrap this up now, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.